that happens. Let me turn to Senator Fetterman. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. And let me say, I hope many of our colleagues agree the Chinese government and other U.S. adversaries should own zero agricultural land in our country. I believe that. I mean, they're taking back our pandas. You know, we should take back all of their farmland. You know, this is really a national security issue, and it's a food security issue. Pennsylvania is a leader on this issue, and a law requiring foreign disclosure on agricultural land, and I hear it's a good one. Mr. Pittman, you shared some state laws, but can you elaborate on how state laws and the few federal laws may work together?
Sure. So probably the best way to answer that is to take a snapshot in time back at the end of 1970s with the enactment of a FIDA in 1978. And at that time, the position that was struck was that matters of prohibition or even banning, although there's no state that has an absolute ban on foreign ownership, that would be a matter left to the states, and that the federal government would operate in the space of requiring reporting. And so from that backdrop, that's basically the paradigm in which this has moved forward since that time. And so there are things that the federal government can do, things like CFIUS, that the states simply can't. But that's basically the paradigm there. If anything to dig deeper in that, you'd look at each specific state law and how it compares. And states like Pennsylvania are very unique. You did mention that unique with the reporting requirement. It also has a requirement that the state, that the Department of Agriculture has a role in monitoring the FIDA data. But a lot of its provisions go back to Revolutionary War period and up into the early 1800s. So you have to take those things into account as well.
So can you speculate on why exactly would the Chinese want to own vast amounts of our farmland? You know, like.
Not the most qualified for that, but you know, I think as Dr. Ortega laid out, a lot of the ownership that currently is evidenced in the FIDA data traces back to the Smithfield transaction that occurred roughly a decade ago. And I'll leave it at that. I don't think I'm qualified beyond that.
Yeah. Secretary Montano Green, like my colleagues, I'm concerned with foreign countries and foreign corporations' ownership in our agricultural supply chain, in small farmers in PA. And there's over 56,000 of them here in Pennsylvania face enough hardships, and they don't need to compete with foreign governments buying our land. Secretary, how could Congress give USDA more resources, including in updating the Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Act, to counter adversaries buying our farmland?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. We agree with you. USDA believes that agriculture is an important part of national security. Two approaches to that question. The first is thinking about your small producers and your family farms in Pennsylvania, and the work we're doing to be able to invest and have better investments there. While not specifically with an FPAC, USDA has been investing in the food system transformation, which has a lot of local and regional investments. We've been working to address consolidation efforts and have a collaboration with attorney generals throughout the country to be able to address that. With regards to AFIDA, AFIDA itself is a disclosure act, and that is the authorities that we have. USDA does not have the authority to approve or decline purchases of land, domestic or foreign. So that is just one thing to be very clear of what USDA has within authorities. Within the support of the investments, we appreciate Congress's work in which they've given us some language within the Omnibus Appropriations Bill last year to be able to modernize and look forward to some support on that financially as well.
Thank you very much. Senator Highsmith.
Thank you, Chairwoman Stabenow and the Ranking Member Bozeman, and for this important hearing. And thank you to our witnesses and Senator Bozeman. Thank you for bringing Harrison along. We've worked together for many years, and it's certainly good to see you at the end of the table, Harrison.